Hey guys, what's up? I got everybody here from TMI. Don't forget to write us an email at tmipodcast2018. That's tmipodcast2018 at gmail.com. Let us know how we're doing. Also, check us out on Twitter.
Follow us on Twitter at TMI_podcast 2018. Just use the numbers, don't spell it out.
Ooh, don't forget Facebook.com/TMI podcast 2018.
Follow us on the Apple Podcast app. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a 5-star review.
All you YouTubers out there, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, TMI Podcast 2018. Look for the popcorn bucket.
That's right. Also, check us out on Spotify and a Google Play Music app for all you Android users. Follow us and subscribe everywhere. We appreciate it. We're doing it for you guys, the fans. Thank you.
The moment our fellow geeks, dweebs, nerds, and other unfortunates have been fervently waiting for has finally arrived. It's time for TMI, Confessionals of the Nerd Kind. And now, your hosts, Dave Odinson Warhowski, Jeff Nerf Herder Chandler, Jim Kaiju Baker, Mike Mjolnir Evans, and Danielle, that's what she said, Warhowski. And now, let's get on with the show. Here is TMI.
Hey, we're here. Welcome, everybody.
We are
May
back.
the fourth be with you all,
Oh.
belatedly.
Yes, a couple days late.
And a shout out to our friends in the UK and Sweden.
Hey.
There you go. Yeah, man.
Hey,
we're making
yes.
some headways here. We're getting some traction.
Yeah.
We know you're listening.
And,
we know.
and everybody that commented on the Facebook post of your worst movie, we thank you because that was fun for all of us to check out and interact
Yeah,
with you
maybe
guys.
so.
Hopefully those people are actually listening to us and didn't just happen upon that Facebook page.
That's fine. Whatever. I do want to. So follow that up a little bit, which is we do have ourselves a bit of a celebrity listener in the UK. This gentleman, I guess 20 years ago, changed his name officially to Chalky Lee Stephen Skywalker Chawner. And anyone who has Skywalker in their name is a friend of mine. And he's jumped on board, has listened to it, actually has a question for us.
Oh,
So we'll do it right
okay.
there, which is now
Our
that
our first listener question.
Right, correct, which is awesome. So now that we last week tore the heck out of Infinity War, we've had a week to kind of sit on it. He wants to know where it falls in our Marvel ranking.
go ahead then, Jeff.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
go first.
I'm gonna put it at number 3. I still have my 2 Captain Americas on top, but this movie was it's repeat viewings. It may go higher.
This one has to take the top of the podium. I think it just, like I said last week's episode, it just goosebumps, man, just constantly, like made your hair just stick up on end. And just every time they introduced a character in like the first time, like in that movie, it was just, oh, this is so good, and I loved it. Loved it.
I agree with Dave. This went right to the top of my list, but it's unfair to ask me right after I've seen a Marvel movie because I think I can say that about every single one.
Right, it does bear repeat viewing time.
Yeah, but this one I think is going to stay there at least until the next Infinity War movie.
Sure.
I'm going to put it at number 4. I think I still have my tops, my Avengers, Civil War, and no, I'm going to put it at number 3 then.
It bumped up as we speak.
It's going higher.
Nice. And since Danielle was not here last week, did we get her feedback? Did she enjoy the movie?
I did enjoy the movie. I put it in my top 5 for sure.
Whoa.
And
Still didn't beat Iron Man, though, huh?
No. I still like, there was a lot going on, and I still like the backstories of everything, but it is nice to see everything converge together. And it could be the hormones, but I was just very uncomfortable, and the movie was entirely too long for me, so I'd want to watch it again in the comfort
It was
of
a long movie.
I'd want to watch it again in the comfort of my own home, but it was still definitely high up there, and they definitely threw us for a loop with only one end credit scene.
Yes, you can actually go pee during the credits because there is
Well,
only
Dave
one.
didn't- Dave didn't know that. It was very stressful.
Like I wasn't sure when it was going to show up.
that's-
If it
no,
was
you
going to
don't
show up
No,
like
if it's halfway.
We're doing
right.
a service.
Right. So I had to piss for like the last half hour of the movie alone, and then I'm like, oh, I got to pee, but I don't know when the end credit is. And then I was like, go ahead, go. I could tell you. I was like, no, I got to stay. And then, of course, it was at the very end. And
Because I was so focused on him stressing me out because he had to pee. Apparently, we missed like these huge like Easter eggs to where they had like inappropriate things written into the credits, which I would have loved to see.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You see, I had no inkling
didn't
of
see
this.
that. No, we a lot of times. When I see the movie with my kids, we have fun going through and seeing where you can find our names. But I didn't see anything appropriate.
No, this guy that we work with said that he was reading the credits and there was like little hidden messages and everything, and it was all like inappropriate.
Really?
Yeah.
So was this the same guy who didn't know if he stayed?
No.
until the end of the credits?
This was Anthony, not Rob.
They kind of did that with Guardians, where they were running I Am Groot would just show up like numerous times throughout the credit, and then it would change.
Yeah, it was like the dirty words mixed into people's names. So I of course would have loved that, but I missed it.
Well,
So
I guess that now
Disney seems to love doing that, putting in these hidden innuendos and messages.
Well, these artists are bored after a while.
Yeah.
How many hours can you devote to animating that blade of grass in the background?
Well, you know that it is Infinity War is now, it was official as of yesterday, the fastest movie to reach $1 billion worldwide.
did it beat Black Panther?
Yes.
Yeah.
It beats the Star Wars. It beat all that. It's the fastest movie to gross up to $1 billion.
I think Force Awakens was the previous
was
record.
the one. Yep.
Well, I see on the Hollywood Reporter says that it did not top Force Awakens' second week record.
Okay, but
Everybody
as
saw it the first
yeah.
week.
But
Because
still,
everybody
right, it didn't-
saw it.
yeah, I was gonna say it's ridiculous. Yeah.
but so I wanna talk about this a little bit more, and I know Jeff has something to say, I think, too, about it. But we were talking last week about the scene that never showed up in the movie, right?
Yeah.
Right. So I had just the thought of it, and what if that was a teaser to number 2? Because didn't they
did film.
they filmed them one after another, I think.
Yeah, they did. They both
So
filmed.
what if it was a little
would they
hidden
drop that,
Easter
though?
egg? But that's the thing, right? Is why there's just I just thought about that, and like I was like, what if that's a scene to like number 2, because it has most of the original Avengers which were still left alive.
We're talking about the Hulk scene, correct?
Yeah, correct.
And it looks like they're all running through Wakanda, through like the jungle or something out
it's like a
there.
hero shot coming right
Yeah,
at camera.
And like you said, Jim, the Hulk was there, even though the Hulk never came out except for the first scene of
In
the
the movie,
Infinity War. So maybe that could have been.
I don't know. I get the
a
feeling
teaser,
that
but-
these studios are going out of their way to kind of create these little snippets that don't even show up in the movie. I did see something, and I'd have to go back and see the movie again, where they photoshopped out one of the Infinity Stones on the gauntlet when he's fighting Captain America. So you don't realize in the trailer that he has that many already.
Oh.
So it could be a red herring. So they could
right.
try to throw you off of giving
Yeah.
too much away, or
Right.
so you're waiting for the Hulk to come back and he never does. So
Right, because I kept waiting for that scene to come,
Yeah.
and it never came to fruition. And it's like, what the? Yeah. That's interesting, though. I did want to point out, though, that because we had this discussion after Thanos. And again, if anybody has not seen this movie, skip 5 minutes ahead because we're going to get right into it again. But after he snaps his fingers and he's in this realm with little Gamora, like initially my question was, what the heck happened? Where is he? Did he die too? And then my son just saw the movie again, and he made it very obvious that she is inside the Soul Stone, because after he acquires the stone, he wakes up in the orange pool And then after he snaps his fingers, he's back in this orange realm, and she's kind of at this temple.
Right.
So her soul is trapped. He sacrificed her, and
yes.
she is now she is part of that soul stone.
Yeah.
So they'll probably bring her back.
Exactly.
No, I still think she's the only one.
No, I think she's trapped in there. And then so many questions still. Like, so many questions.
See,
Oh,
here
and
it
Jim
was,
brought up.
But
Oh, go ahead.
here it
Nobody
was
dies.
that I thought that they were at the train station with Harry Potter and Voldemort.
We're waiting. She didn't have her owl.
Anyways.
And then the other thing, too, I wanted Jim to mention the Red Skull.
Yes, the Red Skull. Yeah, we found out this past week, and we had no idea, and I don't think any of us did, during the viewing of the movie, that he was not played by Hugo Weaving in this film. He was actually played by Aaron, and his real name is escaping me at this moment.
Ross Marquand.
Okay,
yeah, Danielle to the
was
rescue.
Aaron from The Walking Dead, and who did a marvelous job.
Exactly, because the minute I heard his voice, before we even saw the character, I said, I know that voice. So for him to pull that off, and that was pretty well done. I guess Hugo didn't want to spend 3 hours in the makeup chair.
Just the fact that the Red Skull is even in this movie was just mind-boggling to me. And
I liked it. I liked
I didn't even question that.
I couldn't remember what happened to him at the end of.
He got sucked into the Tesseract.
Yeah,
the plane went
stuck
down.
there.
I have to go back.
Yeah.
Yes, but he's still there.
Yep. So there you go. That's our follow-up on.
Yeah, and I'm sure that this is not.
I'm sure the next few episodes after that, we're still going to
bring it up.
We'll come back to it for at least 5 minutes per episode. I just thought of this.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure. So what do we got next on the list today?
Well, our major topic being Star Wars, just as a shout out to May the 4th be with you. This how many years has this been going on, this celebration? When did this come? It's fairly recently.
Yeah.
I think it was when they first came out with the newer Star Wars movies. I think that's when it started becoming more of a bigger thing. So maybe 3 or 4 years now.
Yeah, and I know that Disney has been doing a annual celebration down at Hollywood Disney Studios at this time of year. But yeah, just that the wordplay was just too good to ignore. I think May the 4th be with you. So what we would like to do is to revisit the Last Jedi. Seeing as this was released in December, we've only been on the airwaves on the available since April, so we've never had a chance to discuss this film. And we would like to get into it a little bit and talk about Star Wars today.
I'm game.
All right.
So where would you put it on your list if we had a list, a top Star Wars list?
And would it be a list of 6 or 9?
You'd have to
9, including the prequels.
You can count the prequels,
not including the prequels.
Those are garbage.
Well, there is validity to number 3. I think the third prequel, just for that lightsaber battle.
Just for that battle. I don't know. I walked out of the theater and I really liked this when I saw it. And now I saw it again, and I guess I still like it, but it's got to be at least 5th. The Force Awakens. The Force Awakens, I thought, did such a fantastic job of kind of bringing you back into this universe, but setting up all these new characters. I enjoyed that a lot. This one, you're left on that cliffhanger where she finally meets Luke Skywalker. I'm a huge Luke Skywalker guy. And you had 2 years to kind of, what's his reaction going to be? And they just, Rian Johnson, I guess when he was hired for this job, everyone was like praising it, that it was a bold move because he was a not your conventional director. Where was he going to take this? He wrote this as well, right, Jim?
Yes, he did.
Yeah. So he wrote and directed this. And he just completely like that. They cut right to that scene and he just throws the lightsaber over his shoulder and walks away. And it's very disheartening because you're kind of seeing this hero at the end of his journey. We miss all the stuff in between of all the greatness of him, getting these Jedi back together and building this temple or whatever. And you're only kind of given that in flashbacks. So I did like the Rey. Luke interaction. That was my favorite part of this whole movie. But it's far below the top 3 plus Force Awakens, so it'd have to be 5th.
I mean, for me, it's, why don't they just give the fans what they want? And there's always this element, and I had the same feeling, which is, watching it in the movie theater, I think I wanted to like it more than I actually liked it. So on the rewatch, I was like, I have some problems with this, that just flowed throughout the movie. Obviously the one big one was, how they treated Luke at the end of the movie with the astral, projection and then his disappearance. And I'm just like, why did you have to do that?
Well, he gives away the whole movie in the beginning when she first shows up and she says, "We need you, Leo." And he goes, "What do you expect me to do? You think I'm just going to walk out with my laser sword and face the entire First Order?" And that's exactly how the movie ends. That's what he does.
Right. I kind of enjoyed it a little bit more, I think, than you guys did. I
didn't hate it by any means.
Right. I thought it had a lot of hero moments, like that one scene where the big rebel ship goes into hyperspace and blows right through
so anime.
Dreadnought.
Yeah.
And just the fact when it went silent, when you see the flash of light when it goes through the ship, I thought that was.
So we ignore the laws of space for 8 movies, and now
I think it has some kind of remote thing where it would sense that if you're about to hit something, it doesn't allow you to do that, but who knows? Maybe she disabled it before.
I like the fact that the force fields could repel the blasters, but a ship could fly right through it.
Right, and when the reveal, when you find out that Luke is not actually there, just the anger that Kylo Ren feels throughout this entire movie is just so hilarious to me. It's like he's anger boy throughout the movie.
Oh, he's emo.
He smashes his helmet. He goes into tantrums on the drop of a dime. And I love the character of General Hux. He is that character, I think, is so funny. And him and Kylo Ren, like the chemistry between them, it's like Sonny and Cher. Kylo being Cher. Because he's got the long hair, he's got the doleful expression, he's got the nose.
I got you, babe.
Yeah. So I could see them singing "I Got You, Babe."
I did enjoy shirtless Kylo Ren.
I love the dynamic.
Yeah, that was a little. It's like,
yeah, even Ray couldn't take that. She's like, "Can you put a cloak on or something?"
Right. Ray's like, "Really? Come on."
Yeah, but what I didn't appreciate, because watching it again, there's a lot of unnecessary humor in here that I think that kind of was the downfall of George Lucas every once in a while. Like the Porgs, I think, were kind of unnecessary, like the cute little asides that the Porgs were having with Chewie, and like the fact that they were on the console of the Millennium Falcon.
I got a chuckle out of it. I think they were created for a practical reason. I think because from what I understand, when they were filming, there were so many puffins and other birds on the island that they just couldn't get rid of them. So they created these things to kind of overlay them, but then they kind of came their own thing, right? You could have easily gotten away without showing them in the cockpit, or Chewie eating he already cooked the damn thing.
Right,
Let him eat it.
Yeah. And they used there was a few things that just took me out of the movie, like
the space
slang from like today. Like at one point, one of the characters, I forget if it's Poe or if it's Finn, says, "What now?"
Oh, probably.
Yeah. And there's another thing where Poe calls at the end when they're in the Jedi hideout, or not the Jedi hideout, but the Rebel base at the end, right where Luke is having his final showdown with Kylo. He said he calls the door a big ass door at one point. I'm like, is that necessary? Come on, did you really have to write that in there? Yeah. But asides, on the whole, I enjoyed it. Probably on a par with Force Awakens, but nowhere near my enjoyment of Rogue One. I love Rogue One. That's, I think, up there, above Jedi. I think my top 3 have to be Empire, Star Wars, and Rogue One. So yeah, that I
is Rogue One required viewing for does it fit into the?
Oh, it fits in.
7 or 8.
They went out of their way to it literally picks up moments before Episode 4, A New Hope.
Is it like a side thing, like Solo's going to be though?
Correct.
Sorta? Okay.
Yeah. It just helps you appreciate the other movies more. It's not like you have to watch it to get the narrative that's going on.
And I do, like you said, it's got its own kind of look and feel to it. I do like Rogue One a lot.
Yeah, it's a very standalone, even though it does tie in, so implicitly with the first Star Wars. It's a very standalone story. And I think that's one of its strengths, is you can watch it on its own, outside of any of the trilogies, and it comes off. And I'm hoping that the Solo movie is the same. For what I've seen in the trailers, I'm very much looking forward to it.
Jim, watching the trailers, that's new.
I know, right?
Well, you see, it's not like I'm not as invested as I am in the Marvels, because not that I don't love Star Wars, but because this Solo thing is a completely new story, I don't know what I'm looking at when I look at the trailers. Where if I were to watch the Infinity War stuff, like, I'd be second guessing what's happening in the trailer, and I didn't get that feeling from watching the Solo. It was all new to me. I wasn't trying to see who's dying or what characters are here, what characters are there.
Yeah. So after watching this again, does anybody have any further theories on whose Rey parents may or may not be, and why the Force hole, for lack of a better term, I guess, showed her nothing?
I'm sticking to the, what is it, midichlorians?
Like that she was a virgin birth.
I've had that theory since Force Awakens.
Well, I mean, she did say at one point when she went into the tree, she goes, I recognize this place. So it's like, all right, how is that possible?
And she sees herself when Luke saw Darth Vader in The Empire Strikes Back, when he goes into the tree.
Right. If you
Darth as his father, she sees herself.
So,
so Danielle's theory is
it could very well be. I got the impression that maybe she was seeing her worst fears, which is she truly is alone.
Well, I'm trying to figure out, are you saying that she gave birth to herself?
Well, that's what Anakin.
Like Anakin.
And what's the midichlorians? Doesn't she just manifest?
I don't know. I think Yoda knows, but he was such a jerk in this movie.
Although, looking at the bonus features, it's the reunion between Frank Oz and Mark Hamill is almost tear-inducing. It's
really?
So because Mark, you see they're filming behind the scenes, and Mark says, to the director, "Frank hasn't aged a day while I've aged tragically," is the quote.
Oh man, did go on. Oh, go ahead.
No, did you see the bonus features on the Caretaker Village, where I was like, "Oh, thank God they cut this."
The deleted scenes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was just thankful that it didn't make the movie.
Yeah.
They always have to put this sort of Ewok, bar scene, local color into these movies for some reason.
And did you happen to see the scaffold that they made on the sheer side of the cliff to get some of those shots? It's insane.
Yeah.
What they did, and
they had to put it all back together when they were done too, because that's a World Heritage site.
And you know what? I watched the director's commentary on this because I wanted to see what they said during that final epilogue where the kid seems to grab the broom out of nothingness, and there's no reference made to it at all. And I watched it 2 or 3 times, and it seems like, because the director just says, here's this kid, and we just want to put the scene in here because he has the ring, and we just wanted to show that the rebellion is alive. Made no reference to, him having Jedi powers at all. So I don't think it had anything to do with the Force. I think that was maybe maybe
speculation.
Stepping on the end of the rake and the it goes into his hand. So I don't think that was anything special, just from what I witnessed. Did you guys see the same thing, or
I missed it when I came out of the theater the first time? Everyone was saying, "Oh no, he lifted the broom with the Force." I said I didn't pick that up, and when I saw it the second time, it just looks like he kind of lifts it up like a lightsaber. More so, it didn't look like it was laying on the ground and he drew it to himself.
Yeah, I really don't think that's what their intention was.
No, I think it was. It was. We're watching the birds next week.
Yeah, sorry. I can't take the bird outside. So if you're getting the feedback of a parakeet, that's on me.
He's our new 6th member.
Yeah.
Yes.
And does anybody have any insight into how the First Order became as big as the Empire?
No,
in the course of a few years, because once after the Return of the Jedi, the rebels were not, they should no longer be the rebels anymore.
Correct, right?
They're the Alliance. They're the Republic. And but somehow when the Force Awakens, the First Order is the Empire again, and
Right, and we're
Rebels
forced to
only
be
have
the
like
rebel.
400 people.
Yeah.
It's so how does this happen?
See, I think that's the problem with these new movies, which is you have too much time has passed in between, and so all these hero stories that you have with Han, Luke, and Chewie and Leia. I know that go back the expanded universe. We had novels, we had comics, all that stuff was fun. And then when Disney bought them, they were like, "Yeah, we're not counting any of that stuff." So it all went by the wayside. And now we see these guys at the end of their run, and so it's kind of I would rather I don't know. I love seeing Luke Skywalker again. I love the scene at the end where he shows up. It's like, listen, if you're going to astral project yourself, give yourself a tummy tuck and get the gray out of your hair. Really, because the minute he shows up, you're like, wait a minute, that's not what he looked like 10 minutes ago.
Right. And he gives no physical trace of being there when he's actually out there with Kylo Ren. Because
but then he give Leia.
Yes,
how did he pull that off?
How does he kiss her on the forehead? How does he give her the dice? And then
he gives her the
dice. The dice disappears when
we only saw the dice once in the entire trilogy, one scene. Right. But they brought him back for the these new movies, and it's just big.
So that was a little bit of an inconsistency, I think, unless any of our listeners has a theory or can explain it away. That how does he touch Leia and how does he give her those dice if he's not actually there?
Right. I will say that fight scene in the throne room is just epic.
Oh yes, I love that scene.
So well choreographed, and the design of that room is so minimalist. But it just all works. It's gorgeous.
And the Praetorian guards.
Yeah.
Yes. Finally, some bodyguards worthy of that title. In the
Empire.
Empire.
They still didn't save him.
They're completely not disposable bodyguards. They were tough to get through. Mm-hmm. Much more tougher than Snoke himself was.
There you go. I don't know. Did anybody else want a Lando cameo in Canto Bight when they went to the casino? No, I guess I was the only one. Okay.
What was this? What now?
When Finn and Rose go to the gambler world, the Canto Bight, I just want to see Lando in there gambling away.
Oh, do you mean Billy D or actually?
Oh no, I wouldn't. Yeah, Billy D. Willard. Just Billy D. as Billy D. with a Colt 45 in his hand would have been awesome.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see what Donald Glover does with that with Lando.
I have some. We'll get into it in a little bit, but there's a video that we shared on our Facebook page where Donald Glover gives a little backstage tour of the Millennium Falcon set.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not happy. That's all I'm going to say for now.
Oh.
When did we add this? I did not see this yet. This video. I'll have to go back. I'll have to go down our
visit our page.
Take a look.
Yes. And those crystal foxes, or as I like to call them, the convenient plot devices, because they don't serve no other purpose than to show them how they escape out the little hole in the back.
I thought they were cute.
They're like the porgs.
They were cute. They're like the porgs.
Yes.
I guess they're the Ewok of our day.
Yeah.
It'll be a Funko Pop that Jim can get.
Yes, I was going to say they are pop worthy. Those crystal foxes.
Well, it's funny.
Porgs, not so much.
There you go. You don't want a porg?
I don't want a porg.
That'd be actual size. That'd be an actual size.
It would be. Yeah, it would be.
Yeah. In the behind the scenes bonus feature, I did see where they were trying to. I'm guessing at the end of the day they CG'd those things, but there was a point where they were putting the costumes on dogs and having them run around. Did you see that?
Yes, I did. Actually.
Yeah. So they
were actually there in some cases.
That was pretty funny.
And they just had, like tendrils, like rubber tendrils, like coming down when they.
Right. I guess that's the same thing as dressing up an elephant for a bantha. So.
Right.
So Dave and Danielle, you guys have a shot, maybe not at stardom yourselves, but for your dog Ranger.
I was thinking that.
There you go.
Dress him up.
Oh, yeah.
Well, now we know what he's going to be for Halloween, right?
No, I'm actually going to make him a Demogorgon for Halloween.
Really?
That's awesome. I love it.
A Demodog.
Demodog.
Shout out to Stranger Things.
There you go.
Now, I think it's worth pointing out that maybe 70% of us saw The Force Awakens together. So, the TMI team has been together far longer than this podcast has been in existence.
We just conveniently leave work.
Yes. So
3-hour lunches.
so we saw this movie together in the company of an entire senior class.
Oh my
who
God.
hollered throughout the whole thing.
Very obnoxious.
So it was like seeing it with John Q. Public sitting right next to you.
They clapped at the most awkward parts.
Yeah, no, but if this was like a sneak preview and the producers and the director was here, this would be exactly what they would want to hear. Them like screaming,
and hollering,
laughing and hooting and hollering, and at every shot in the movie. So I know Danielle and Mike hated it, but it was kind of like I found it kind of heightened my experience. That it made everything that much more exciting for me.
That's pretty
without them watching the DVD, watching the Blu Ray. It's like, oh, I wish somebody was cheering.
It was like a Tuesday at noon. We're like, no one's gonna be there. Literally, we got like the last 4 seats.
Yes, right next in the same aisle as. It's not even like we were across the theater from them. It was in the same aisle as this class.
Yeah.
There was no getting away from it.
Yeah. We need to send in someone to reconnoiter next time.
Because it was, we could have easily just got up and left and gone into the showing that was 20 minutes from then, but we didn't.
No, we're dedicated.
I have a Star Wars trivia question for Danielle.
Oh, here I am.
Okay. Now we all know that you are a huge Family Guy fan, and that your initial exposure to Star Wars came through Family Guy. So my question to you is: name the 3 characters that Meg plays in those 3 Star Wars or the Star Wars Family Guy episodes.
Oh, she plays the worm. I don't know the name.
That's Space Slug, Space Worm. That works.
Yeah, the space worm that the Millennium Falcon like flies into. Then they think it's a cave.
Yep.
Oh my God! What else does she do?
I know one.
All right, help me out. Phone a friend.
Jabba?
No, that's Joe. Jabba's Joe.
Jabba was Joe?
Because he doesn't have legs.
Yeah, right.
The chicken's Boba Fett. The gas station guy is Yoda. Crap. I don't know. I'm the worm is the only thing coming to mind because it wears the little hat. That's all the vision I'm seeing right now.
Gentlemen, anyone else?
No. Yeah, I'm
Really?
clueless at this.
Nothing from me.
Yeah, not a Family Guy.
Just give me a hint.
Well, again, she only shows up 1 second in each one of these movies.
Yeah.
So you're right. The Space Slug was Empire. In Star Wars, she was in the trash compactor. She's the Dianoga monster that swims under the water.
Yes. Yes.
And then Jedi, I'm actually drawing a blank on myself. I should have had the answers, right?
Oh, you don't have the
No, I thought I had.
Yeah, he was hoping that you would bail him out.
I assumed that she was going to nail that.
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen them in a while.
Let's throw it up on Facebook. Let's see who can answer that question.
Right.
It should be required viewing, though, because I swear they are spot on with almost everything.
And I thought they smelled bad on the outside.
Probably one of my favorite scenes is they're fighting the AT-ATs. And there's one scene where they tie like the ropes around the bottom and the AT-AT falls, and then he just sits there, and it's a classic scene for Family Guy when they get hurt. They just sit and they hold their knee and they go, ah, and they do that for like 10 minutes straight. And then they shoot to another AT-AT, and they show like Chris, who plays Luke Skywalker, shooting worms into the butt of the AT-AT, and then he goes down and he starts dragging his butt like it.
Oh, now I gotta rewatch.
Those are going to be required viewings.
Nice. All right.
Sorry, I failed.
That's
It's trivia though.
There you go.
I usually can find a Family Guy reference for every single.
I tried to help you out there.
Either that or Seinfeld.
All right, so that's pretty much going to wrap it up here for us. Don't forget to follow us on all your guys' social media accounts. Look for the Popcorn Bucket. Just search TMI, TV, movies, and everything in between. So next episode, episode 6, what we're doing is we are splitting up this episode. This was going to be an hour long, but we're trying some new things here. And we're splitting up this episode. So next week, next Wednesday, you will hear the Superman, the original Superman 1978 Superman review that we have from those that watched it, because some of us unfortunately weren't able to watch it. Talking about myself and my wife. So stay tuned for next Wednesday's episode that will have the 1978 original Superman feature and also the confessional as well. So stay tuned for that, guys, for next week. Thank you guys again for listening. Thank you guys again for chiming in on our Facebook posts. We appreciate it. We're having so much fun doing this. I hope you guys are having a good time listening to us and we aren't disappointing. If you have any insights for us, something you want us to talk about, any questions, feel free to ask us anywhere on social media, and we'll answer it on our next episode. So stay tuned for that. And hey, thank you guys again for listening. We'll see you next Wednesday on another episode of TMI.